we are going to look at, when you take databases, there are different types of databases are there, like relational, NoSQL, object-oriented, and so on. So in your level, we are going to discuss what we call relational databases. So if somebody asks you what is relational database, you can say that it's a relation database consists of collection of related tables. We know that data could be in tables, and if you can have a set of related data as a collection, we can say that it's a relation database or relational database. So if you take a table consists of records. It's like this. Let me draw it for you. So let me put this as a table. So in table, we know that you have rows and columns. So we have a, let's say, a set of rows, and then let's say a set of, columns. So if you take this is known as row. And then if you take this direction, it's known as columns. So we have 3 columns here and 3 rows, right? So if you take a table, you can see it as a table as a set of rows. So we have 3 rows here. So you can take a table as a set of records, rows. And then if you take one row, you can take it as a set of fields. So columns or fields. Right. Okay. Now let me discuss this with small examples, toy examples. So here we have 3 tables. Yes, we have 3 tables. And then these 3 tables are related to each other. For example, if I ask this question, what is Saman's ICT marks? Can you tell me the answer? What is Saman's marks for ICT subject? Yes, we want to find out what is Saman's ICT marks. If you start with the first table, we have admission number, name and address. So Saman's admission number is 1001. And if you look at the second table, you have subject code and subject name, which means we have 100 for ICT, 200 for mathematics. Now what we want to know now is admission number 1001 and ICT is 100. So which means you go to 1001 and then 100. That means the first row of the table, third table. And the marks is 95. I got the correct answers from Janani, Vinu and Pramati, right? So Saman's admission number is 1001, ICT's code is 100, 1001 and 100. We will say that this is 95. Okay, what is Saman's mathematics marks? Yes, if you look carefully from the table, Saman's admission number is 1001 Mathematics subject code is 200, 1001 and 200. So that is actually second row in the table. Okay. So let's look at Guyon's ICT marks. Guyon's ICT marks. Okay. So Gayan is the admission number is 1002 and ICT is 100, 1002 and 100. We know the marks is 90. So I got the correct answers from Janani, Achira, Pramudi and Binu. Good. Okay. Now let's look at some of the concepts of relational databases. Right. Now, one of the problems when you keep on increasing the table, there will be a lot of issues, concerns. Now, for example, you see some set of fields starting from admission number, name, date of birth, gender, index number, average, rank, class, rectangular number, term and fee. Okay. So if you look at a table like this, you have many different fields are here, right? But sometimes without the information, you cannot store data available. Now, another issue is when we are going to update or change a record, it may change it multiple places. Same goes with the deleting a record. So when you're removing some important information may remove from the source. Okay. So when we create the tables, then you can easily insert record, you can easily update the records, you can remove the noises. So with these tables, you can easily insert new records. Updating is easy. You can update existing records. You can remove records. So if you ask me like how you are going to do this, you can remove the fields because some of them you cannot add in the same day or same data. Remove the fields which depends on non-primary key. I will come up to that point later on. If non-prime keys are dependent to each other, remove those fields. So some consideration given. I'll explain how exactly it will appear. Right. Now let's look at some terminology we use in So if you start with primary key, now any table you should identify what we call the primary key. So primary key is a field or set of fields that you can use it to monitor. So whenever you get a new recording, then it becomes a primary key. Now, for example, both admission number and index number can be considered as in the result table, and one of them, that is index number, is taken as a primary key. So it's you have to note that when we look at the phases, we will get the same. So let's look at now the composite key. Now I told you primary key is the field or set of fields that you can use it to identify each of the rows uniquely. So when it comes to some tables, you may not be able to find a unique field So when you get a set of keys to uniquely identify each of the rows, then we call it composite key. Now let me explain this with the example. Here you have a sports table. You have 4 fields. You have year, sport, captain, and then vice captain. And then there are like 6 rows. There are 6 rows. 6 rows. And then we have to identify a primary key. Now here, we can't use that a primary key. Can one of you tell me why here cannot be used? Yes. Can you take here as the primary key, Pramuti? Right. Can a sport? Pramuti said it can't. Yes. Why it can't? Because you have duplicate value. So first 3 rows you have 2013. Next 3 rows you have 2014, which means there are duplicates. So you cannot use year alone as a primary key. How about sport? Can you tell me like whether we could use sport as the primary key? Yes, Binu? You can't because you will see the sport repeats. Captain. Janani, can you tell me whether captain can be taken as a primary key? Yes, you can't. How about vice captain? Again, you will see there are duplicates. So none of the fields can be taken as a primary key. So we have to combine 2. Now, when you're combining, you will get both year and sport, which means you can read like 2013 cricket, again 2014 cricket. So which is unique, right? So because of that, this is known as a composite key. So composite key means when you are creating a primary key, if you are going to use multiple fields to combining multiple fields to get the primary key. So I guess now you understand what is composite key. Now last one is taking the relationship. Now we have seen from the toy example, we had student names, we had course names, and then we have the results or marks. So likewise, then you will see there are some relationships. So for that, we will use foreign keys. Foreign key is an attribute which is actually common to multiple tables. Now let's say you are going to combine two tables together. So which means you have to have a common attribute for both the tables, right? And it should connect through primary key of the other table. Okay, this is very, very important. Primary key of the other table. So let's go back to our example. Yes, let's take the first one. So what is the primary key of the first table? Let's say this is, let's take it as a student table. Yes. Let's take the first table. Let's say student table. What is the primary key? You know, Janani said admission number. Yes, good. It should be admission number. Why? It's unique. Name could be repeated, address could be repeated, but admission numbers